Hello, and here's a very, very hearty good morning to all of you. And this is yet another short presentation from the Smart CA initiative. My name is CA Sripriya Kumar, and today we're going to have a very, very short video presentation on multidisciplinary partnerships, which have been recently announced by the ICAI. Now, before I proceed any further, I must tell you that the detailed guidelines are yet to come. So, this is just like a curtain raiser on the subject, which I think is going to be invaluable for aggregation of firms across the professions and aggregation in terms of scale building of the respective professions that constitute the landscape of this country. So, we're going to talk about the context, the key changes, and the way forward, but of course, the detailed guidelines would have to evolve. So, what's the context? The ICAI on July 8, 2021 came up with a new Form 18. So, what's a Form 18? That's the form in which chartered accountant firms are required to intimate the institute on revisions in the constitution of firms. So, for the first time and progressively, you keep filing Form 18s whenever there is a change. And most of us are familiar with Form 18. What's a partnership? A partnership is obviously a form of organizations where partners work together, share profits, and most importantly, own a part of the firm. Now, until these changes now, which are concretely and decisively taking shape, each professional institute, for example, the CA Institute said you can partner only with a chartered accountant, not with a cost accountant or a company secretary, right? So, with these changes, you're allowed to admit partners from other professions which have come up. So, what's the landscape? Quite a while ago, Regulation 53A and 53B were amended. Those are the important regulations in the context of multidisciplinary partnerships. And now in July 2021, there's a notification of the Form 18 giving effect to the Regulation 53B, and detailed guidelines are shortly expected. Now, what was Regulation 53B? The objective is to guide the chartered accountants in practice for entering into partnership with members of professional bodies which are prescribed in the said regulation. Now, these guidelines apply for MDP CAs in practice as a partnership firm. So, who does it basically impact? Now, today, let's say I run a firm. It impacts me in the sense that I could admit a CWA as a partner or a company secretary as a partner. Now, what does Regulation 53B basically say? It says the following professional body members have been permitted to become partners in a CA firm. Who are those professions? Company secretary, cost accountant, advocate, engineer, architect, actuary, and professional bodies outside India whose qualifications are recognized by the council. And more importantly, before the council comes into play for a professional body outside India, the central government must say that those countries don't have discriminatory practices vis-a-vis Indian professionals. So these are the 7 categories which got included in 53B. Now let's look at this whole thing practically. Now the relevant member bodies also need to make amendments to enable this, and some of them have already sort of shown the way. A company secretary would be permitted. A cost accountant would be permitted. So today, since I largely address a CA audience, for a CA firm, you can now admit, once the detailed guidelines are out, a company secretary, a cost accountant, engineer, architect. However, the Bar Council is not yet permitted. So, advocates currently can't come in. Actuaries, there's a very interesting inclusion. The actuaries can't come in if they are not holding a COP. If they are holding a COP, they can't come in as an actuary. Now, if they're not holding a COP, one can't admit them as a partner in a CA firm because the fundamental guideline is somebody to become a partner in a CA firm needs to hold their COP. So, a cost accountant holding his COP can become a partner here. But these are just the brief understanding at this point in time, and we need detailed guidelines. Now, very interestingly, what are the key points that would continue or those that emerge? To be a statutory auditor, of course, for a company, a majority of the partners of a CA firm still have to be chartered accountants. So you can't have a firm with 2 CA partners and 8 costing or company secretary partners and then call yourselves a CA firm. It doesn't work. Membership of other professionals presently shall be based on certification by a CA. An independent CA has to say, yes, he's a cost accountant, he's part of his institute, and he's eligible to come into this firm. Profits can be shared between CAs and other professionals in the firm once constituted. Form 18 is the document which is to be filed with ICAI as a norm. Now, a branch office of a CA firm can be headed only by a chartered accountant, but the council has the option to amend to permit a non-CA to head a branch. So suppose you take a company secretary in Hyderabad. Presently, your Hyderabad branch would still, as a CA firm, need to be headed only by a chartered accountant as a branch in charge. So it's obvious that each member shall be subject to disciplinary proceedings of the relevant institutes they belong to. So if there is any issue of professional misconduct, etc., these are some things like, this is like more or less like a bird's eye view of, what our present understanding is. And once the guidelines come out, I'd be very happy to do a more detailed video. So what does this mean for us? Firms can admit other professionals and explore newer professional opportunities. So you have an engineer on board. So a lot of times when you do work, you need such kind of support. Software professionals who are engineers will be very invaluable. Company secretaries, an in-house company secretary. Now you can say, I can always take a company secretary and keep him as an employee. But look at somebody who's a company secretary who's holding his COP. Now, first of all, you can retain them as consultants or retainers, but today it gives you that complete in-house power pack. Now, interestingly, if you see, insolvency professionals and registered valuers, which are also professions, are not forming part of the Regulation 53B. It will be a very, very good idea if these two professions are also integrated. Of course, it can come in together. For example, if I choose to be an insolvency professional, I can hold only an insolvency professional certificate and I must be allowed to come in. Currently, today, I both hold the ICAI, CA membership, CA certificate of practice, and I'm also an insolvency professional, but we still have to see how this would evolve. But this would be a very good move in the right direction to also include insolvency professionals and registered valuers, because it would enormously help in scale building of firms. Now, leave all this. I thought, what's the best feature of this is, as we all know, our professional course, the CA course, has been a lot tougher compared to the other professional courses. And so, our pass percentages have been fairly, low, in the sense about 10%, 15%, 20%, etc. So there are lots of people who worked with us in the past who are very, very good, who've not managed to clear their CA, but who've contributed significantly to the growth of our own practices in firms. This is a very, very good time to invite people such as those who finished their CAs or CS and induct them as partners, because you really grow then and you have your own trusted team with you. So that's my most interesting take on this subject, is that MDPs would enable many persons who have not been able to complete CA, but who have completed other professional degrees, to be inducted as partners based on their competence and efficiency, and would enable CA firms to obtain the best-in-class talent that we've already worked with. So with this very, very short curtain raiser, I'd like to conclude. And once the guidelines come in, I'll be very, very happy to, sort of come back with another video on this. But for now, please stay safe and take care. Thank you very, very much.